Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. Today, I am so excited to have the amazing Harry Bernard here as our guest speaker. And he will be talking about his experience, his journey. Maybe he'll share a little insight about how I am as a therapist. I'm very excited to have Harry here today. Harry, I think we have quite the audience today, so hopefully you're not too nervous. But I mean, I know you're like made for the stage, so hopefully, you're excited just as much as I'm excited.
Yeah,
Great. Okay, so maybe you could start by sharing with everyone kind of who you are. Tell us about you.
I'm Harry. Uh, I am currently in college, and when I was very young, I was diagnosed with autism. I don't know the exact date, but yeah, and it has been a journey.
Great. And so would you say, first, let's do some bragging points. I know last school year, because you're on summer vacation, you've received some awards. Would you mind sharing with people the awards you've received last year or last school year?
Yeah, I will. So I received the Honors Society Award. Like only a few people receive it, and I received it, and I got the President's Award for Outstanding Member of in the Performing Arts for continuing student. And I got a theater award for one of the lines in the play that the teacher does.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, one award is usually really something to be proud of, but the fact that you got three, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to, talking about, let's start with when you were younger. So when you were younger, you said you got diagnosed with autism when you were young and you don't quite remember. What was it like growing up with autism?
So I had trouble with like social skills and I saw a therapist a lot. You were one of my therapists.
Mm-hmm.
And also I didn't really know the rules that well. So yeah, school was kind of tricky at first.
Mm-hmm.
But then having those aids help me like with social skills and like with schoolwork. And then people started to like me. And I know you started coming to my school occasionally to help me like with hangouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I met some friends at summer camp. And we, in the sixth grade and seventh grade, a little bit, we would do hangouts like most Fridays where we'd pick a location to meet up
Mm-hmm.
since one of them was autistic. And I really enjoyed that.
Okay, so the Friday fun days, you enjoyed those.
Yeah.
Awesome. And would you say, so let's talk about like the pros and cons of therapy. What were some of the things you liked about the therapy sessions?
One thing I liked was like having the attention. We got to do fun things like going to the park on my bike. Yeah, I learned to ride a bike in second grade, was it?
I remember that, and it was such an exciting moment.
Yeah, I was nervous. Anyway, so those were one of the fun things, and I liked how we played games, and we sometimes made homework more fun, since I know everyone doesn't like homework.
Great. And so it sounds like there were a lot of positive things about the therapy you received. And if you had to like pick some things that you didn't really like or some of the cons of therapy, can you think of any?
Yeah, one thing I thought was only okay was like the practicing conversation skills,
Mhm.
like with the difference between a fun, exciting topic and a boring, serious topic.
Mhm.
And I didn't like how sometimes my brother felt left out.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, he had a hard time with that.
Okay, so practicing like some of the conversational topics you didn't really like, and then sometimes
Yeah,
not.
because it was just like practicing and like getting a check.
Mm-hmm. And then your brother feeling left out. No, I think those are very great, valid feedback, and I really appreciate that. And then let's see. And then outside of therapy, what were some hobbies and interests that you've had since you were younger that maybe you still have today?
Um, so I love doing theater and playing piano. I've been playing piano since kindergarten, and in college I participate in theater and choir.
Mhm. And I know that when I used to work with you when you were younger, you used to have this amazing talent where you can hear a song and you play it in one key and then you can magically transform it into a whole nother key. Can you still
Oh
do?
yeah. I can also learn songs by ear.
Yes. Something I wish I could have, but I
Like
don't have.
if someone's playing it, I can try playing it.
Amazing. Okay, so theater is something you enjoyed, music, obviously,
Yeah. I
piano.
like how you can make friends really easily in theater.
That's awesome. That's great. Um, and then and then so kind of like going through your different like school experience, you had mentioned that sometimes homework wasn't fun, so we kind of helped you make homework fun. Were there any
Yeah.
challenges in during like your school year? I mean, that can cover from kindergarten all the way up until 12th grade.
Well, one challenge that's still going is when people sing happy birthday.
Okay.
I've had that challenge a lot and it's still going.
And I know, and ever since you were younger, you do not like that song Happy Birthday. So like what are some skills you've learned over the years? Maybe it's through therapy, maybe it's through like different means of like coping with that.
Maybe walk out of the room or just cover your ears. Sometimes I play it on the piano to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
But like sometimes my parents say try to stay in the room if it's like your friend's birthday, they might want it.
Mm-hmm. And so when you able to stay in the room if it's like a friend's birthday?
Yeah, most of the time I did that when my friend took the cast out to a restaurant for her birthday.
Oh, great.
I stayed this last year. I stayed in the room when they sang happy birthday,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I kind of knew it was coming.
Got it. So probably a lot of advance warnings is probably
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, like before we went, she said like toward the end we're gonna sing happy birthday. Be prepared.
Got it. And then any other challenges like that you've encountered or had to learn to overcome as you are a student?
Um yeah, I've had to overcome the transition between elementary and junior high.
And how was that transition for you?
It was rough at first.
And can you share with us like what was challenging about it?
Elementary and junior high are different.
Okay.
Like you're going between classes and there were a lot of new people that I didn't know. Some I knew, but
Mhm. So today we have a lot of like parents, professionals, just a lot of students, right? And so like if you were to give advice, what advice would you give in helping students who are in the transitional period make it easier for their child?
uh I give advice like maybe get in touch with people who are also in the stage and talk to them about how you're feeling.
Mm, being able to express your feelings, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I mean, talking about transitions, I remember when you were younger, you were like, I'm not going to move to the East Coast for college because that's so far away from my parents. But here you are, like, you're across the country.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so talk to me about like, how did that decision come about? Like, how is it being on your own? Pros, cons?
So so the decision came to come to the East Coast like for a couple reasons. Cause like I knew I'd be close to New York and also cause my senior year of high school, I was constantly asking people to hang out, but no one was available. So mom said, when you're at college, you're living with your friends, so you don't have to be constantly texting.
Mhm,
And some things that I'm glad about are I gain independence
mhm.
and I get to go out with people and not have to constantly text and see if people are available.
Awesome. Was that initial transition hard for you?
Yes.
Living with your parents and then all of a sudden you're living by yourself? Like how long
Oh,
did
yes.
you adjust?
But I did go, but the summer before I started college and before that, I went to some sleepaway camps to help.
Okay.
I did one that was like kind of like college,
Cool.
but they do fun stuff. You're living in a dorm with someone.
Awesome.
And fun fact, that person I was living with at that camp, he is now my college roommate.
Wow, that's awesome. What a small world.
Yeah, we were like best friends and we found out we were going to the same college.
That's
So
awesome.
then last year and this year, we decided to be roommates.
Cool. I love that. Okay, so then your first year of college, like how was that? Like what were your grades like? What was, and I mean you're living on your own, so were you able to like manage your time and have enough time to socialize with friends, but then also have enough time to do your, academic work? Like,
Yeah. For the first couple weeks, I felt a little shy because it was new people, so I was in my room a lot.
mhm,
But then I started doing stuff with friends, like going out,
mhm,
and I was able to manage time, like be caught up on work and
mhm.
rehearse for a play.
Great. So not everyone, and I would say even a lot of adults, have a hard time with managing time. So how do you manage your time? Like in terms of like, I need to set aside this amount of time for studying. I need to do this so I can socialize. Like, how do you manage that? What does that process look like?
So I usually plan out my day and then figure out when a good time to do homework would be,
Hmm.
and just in my head.
Oh, okay. So you
And I get support from advisors.
cool. I will have to apologize, Harry, because the last time we hung out, which was I think a few weeks ago, it was recent. You were so great about time management because you had shared with me that we had to be all done. I think it was by like 4:30, I want to say,
Yeah.
because you had to go to work. So again, that is like amazing like management skills in terms of like, okay, I if I need to go to my job by, this time, I need to end my like fun social activity by this. So I just wanted to applaud you for that because I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's see. What so do you like being on your own?
Most of the time.
Okay, so the times that you don't like being on your own, can you share with us what those challenges are?
I just miss my family a lot and I miss my dog.
And so when you miss your family and your dog, what do you do?
I call them.
Oh,
I
awesome.
call them like every day. I feel like maybe I could start calling them a little less.
Okay. I'm sure your parents don't mind the daily calls.
Well, I
Uh,
call them a couple times a day.
got it. Yep, I think I still, just to let you know, I still text my mom because she's in Korea, so I can't call her all the time, but I text her every single day, multiple times a day. And my husband calls his mom every single day, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I don't think you're alone in that one. And like, what are you studying in college? What are you majoring in?
Majoring in communications and I'm minoring in theater and
Awesome.
performing.
What do you want to do after you graduate college?
Uh, I'm not sure. I'm thinking of either coming back to the West Coast or maybe living in New York.
Wow. So if you decide, so what's going to be the deciding factor?
I don't know yet.
Hmm. Maybe job opportunities.
Yeah, probably.
And do you know like what industry you want to go into?
Not yet.
Is it, I know when you were younger, you were always interested in something to do with like the subway or the trains. Is that
Yeah,
an
I'm
area?
still interested, but I'm thinking about it.
Okay. So
I
other,
know when I was at Disneyland, I did ask a couple people like about their job.
okay. And how, what did they say?
They said it was a while ago, I kind of forgot.
No worries. And
But I
like,
have considered working there.
ooh, for Disney?
Not really considered. I've just met with people, but I'm considering it. I don't know.
Well, I heard they have some really good perks. Like if you work for Disney, you can bring in three friends for three people to come to Disneyland for free with you.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so some other things, questions that I might have is like, what are some things that might be hard for you still?
Leaving home is a big one.
Okay, like leaving, like, can you elaborate on that?
Leaving for college.
Oh, okay. So like right now you're back home, right?
Yeah, for like a week and a half.
And then you're gonna go back, so that transition is gonna be hard for you.
Yeah, I
Right.
go back on August 20th.
Okay. Do you have any fun plans from now until August 20th?
Well, I'm going to the LA Zoo on Sunday, I think.
Yes, I'm very
And Sunday evening, I'm planning to have people over for a movie night
fun.
as like one final get together. And then my friend from New York is coming to California next week, so we're gonna go to LA and ride some subways together because he also loves trains.
Oh, awesome.
And
Uh,
then when I head to the East Coast, I'll get a couple days in New York.
Great. Wow. So, I mean, again, like it's just so amazing to see you from, when you were very young to now here you are very independent. You're socializing. It seems like you have a lot of friends,
Thank
have
you.
a busy social calendar, you have a job, you're getting all these awards. Wow. So would you say with all of these accomplishments, can you kind of share like do you think that your autism has helped you or do you think it has like it hasn't helped you? Like has it been like a burden on your life?
It
Like
it has helped me mostly.
and can you share like in what ways?
Helps me overcome fears of like leaving, not the fear of jumping off a high dive. That still scares me.
I can't do that either, so I'm right
I
there with
actually did it in high school. It was terrifying.
my God. And you don't want to do it again?
I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. So, are you able to do, in Disneyland, they have the Guardians of the
Yeah,
that
I
drop
can do that.
that one, but not. So you don't have a fear of heights. It's just jumping off the high dive.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so your autism helps you overcome fear. Any other strengths of having autism?
It's probably why I have perfect pitch. That's a superpower
Mhm,
that
absolutely.
it gave me.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what else.
Well, I mean, having both of those skills, I think it's just incredible. It's amazing, right? So,
Yeah. That's also the reason why I don't like Happy Birthday.
oh, is it because you don't like to hear people singing
Yeah,
it?
it's because I have perfect pitch.
Oh, so that bothers you.
Yeah, people sing it very badly.
Well, I'm not gonna have you judge my singing then.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, so that's awesome. Is there anything else you would want to share with, me or anyone else?
Um, oh yeah, another thing that helps me at college is some of the fun events.
Okay.
That helps me like enjoy it more.
Mhm. Can you talk to us about what those events are that helps you enjoy it?
They sometimes do karaoke nights where we can sing
Mhm.
and open mic nights where it's basically like a talent show.
Um,
It's fun and what else? And they also have like bingo nights where we all play bingo. That's fun.
Mhm.
And sometimes where we watch a movie.
Cool. Now moving on, are do you have any like prospective girlfriends?
Not yet.
Some, maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future, we'll see.
Awesome. And then beyond college, like what do you envision yourself doing in like the next 10 years? Like,
Um, I am not sure yet.
so that's too far out. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't blame you, you know, you're a college student, you're enjoying life, and that's what, you know, college students.
yeah.
And then I was okay. So the other question I had, and I wanted to get your perspective, is so there has been, you know, it's interesting because there's been, and I don't know if you're aware of this controversy, but there has been some controversy from a lot of adults with autism about, you know, the pros and cons of receiving therapy, you know, rooted in the principles of applied behavior analysis. Kind of what you shared, it seems like it's benefited you, but there have been some things that you didn't like. I would love to get your feedback in terms of what your thoughts are on like the therapy that kids with autism get when they're younger.
Um, so the therapy can be fun and also parts of it can be serious.
Okay. And so if you were to like create the perfect therapy world for like a little kid with autism, like how would you design it?
Um, have them come to the house, maybe do like start with the serious stuff that they need to work on, then end the day with a fun activity of their choice. And then if they have worked on that serious thing, whatever it is, for like maybe 2 weeks, you can like give them like a special reward
Okay.
that it can be a reward of what they want.
Mhm. And
Like
then,
for me, it was going on that trolley in Santa Barbara, which doesn't run anymore, sadly.
you know, that's kind of a bummer, huh?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so okay, so that's a great, so it seems like maybe like incorporating both some of the serious stuff and like from your perspective, what are some serious things that you think people should learn?
Um, social skills and like what to do and what not to do in school. I get it if people misbehave in elementary, they're still learning. So, yeah.
So can you share with us like what your takeaway is? Like what are some things to do and things not to do?
Do talk to people, but like be appropriate and let other people have a turn. Don't like go on and on with something.
Mhm.
And if someone says stop, listen to them.
Okay, awesome.
But
Um,
I tried to quote a movie at school and people were not happy about it. It was Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
that's a classic.
Yeah, but it's kind of inappropriate. Parts of it are inappropriate.
Absolutely. And I don't know, I don't, it's an older movie, so I don't know if people from your generation have watched it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yep. And then okay, so that's some really good feedback. What about any other like so social skills seems to be kind of your top priority. Um,
Yeah,
why would you say social skills is important?
because that will help you have a successful future.
Awesome. And then what about like, did you ever get like support with like jobs, like getting a job and things like that?
Yeah, people helped me.
Okay, so can you talk to us about what that? Because I know in the summer you had a job. Are you still working for the theater at SBCC?
That show finished.
Okay, perfect. So what was that process like? Applying for a job, getting a job?
Uh, well, I did it last summer, but last summer I had to fill out paperwork and it took a long time. And this summer I had someone from high school, a staff member, help me with it. And we looked at certain jobs
Uh,
and then they thought I'd be good as a counselor at a theater camp I used to do. So I was one of those.
Oh.
And that really made me helped me with like working with younger ones. And then I ran spots at the show.
So it seems like you're fantastic at utilizing your resources because if you were able to reach out to your college counselor for support, that's fantastic. Or your high school counselor.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, so that's like my portion. I kind of want to open it up to the audience in terms of if anyone have questions they would like to ask Harry. I know Lindsay is also on here and she said,
Yeah, I saw her message in the chat.
so I'm gonna open it up to anyone who might have questions for you. But otherwise, if there's anything else you think you can share, Harry, please do because we're here to learn from you, in terms of how we could help, kids with autism overcome various skills, like just how you've shared with it. I mean, for me,
I
I've learned so much already, but if you can provide any more insight, I think that would really
I
help.
do have one thing that they should be prepared of in the future.
Yes, what is it?
So in school, if you have like, since I had an IEP because of my autism, so I had to do these like tests every 3 years, which I didn't like.
The assessments.
Yeah, and I didn't like those because they took a lot of time.
Got it. How would you recommend navigating that? Because I think the trouble with those is they kind of, it's, you have to do it. It's required by the state. So what
Uh,
would recommendation?
yeah, if you're gonna, when you do them, maybe take some deep breaths at first, and if you need a break, just tell them and try to enjoy it. I know it might seem boring, but
But I guess my question would be like for the teachers or for the people giving those assessments, like what can they do to make your experience better?
um, they can make it like a game.
Okay, so make it more
I,
fun.
yeah, and then say like you've earned a break.
Okay, give breaks. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe don't let them play video games though, because that'll distract them.
Right, right, right. That's true.
Yeah, one time someone actually said, do you think maybe I could let you play Subway Surfers if you do a good job? And I said, I don't think my parents will want me doing it, so I'm gonna have to deny.
That's awesome. Okay, we have a question.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so I'll read it out loud. What's the number one thing you are worried about doing well as you transition into being an adult?
Uh, I'm worried about probably maybe doing something I don't want to do and like it coming up closer and closer, and also like having to cook a meal because I'm not very good at that.
Even with all of our practices, Harry? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um,
But like if since I won't be living at college, I'm worried like how will I spend money or save money and not overspend it like I used to do.
how are you managing your finances right now?
Well, last year I only bought the certain valuables at Target and I would keep a budget. The year before that, I just spent all my money at Target.
So, yeah, I mean, I think, as you transition to adulthood, you'll probably have to start learning. And it seems like you're already taking steps in learning how to be more responsible for your finances.
Yeah.
Are there other things you are worried about as you transit? Because college is like that nice, like buffer, I feel like, because it's like, yes, you're living away from home, but you are still like sheltered in the sense that you're part of this, organization. They give you food, you have a place to sleep, so you don't have to look for housing. But after you graduate, and you get that diploma, like what worries you of going into the real adulthood, I guess?
Probably paying for housing.
Housing, okay. Do you have any like idea for what you might be able to? I mean, I guess it's going to depend on the job,
Uh,
but like you might not.
yeah, it depends. If I'm living in New York, though, I can just use my dad's apartment.
That's nice. Is
So I
does
might have though I might have to pay a little bit.
Okay. So pay your dad some rent. I'm sure he'll give you a discount, right?
I hope so.
Okay. I think that's a great response. And then we had another question from Ben. This is nice to meet you, Harry. He has two questions. Have you had any challenges with employment? And if so, what have they been?
My challenges was like getting on time since senior year of high school when I was working at the train museum. I would always bike there. And like also what if I had to miss a day? What would I say to them?
Mhm. And how are you able to navigate those challenges?
I just made sure to leave at a certain time, and if I had to miss a day, I just let my boss know and she'd be fine.
Okay.
And she said since I was still a senior in high school, she wanted me to practice just like calling in and saying like, "Hey, I'll be there today,"
And
or "I won't be there today."
so, were you able to use that suggestion for your current job that you have with SBCC for the last 2 years?
Not really. I just had to be there every day.
So you didn't take it. Oh, so you're a very hard worker.
Yeah,
Um,
but I
and
made sure to be there on time and say like, "What do you need help with?"
so yeah, I know, like I said, I was very surprised how punctual you've been. Um, and what are things that employers can do to help you be successful as an employee? Like, what are some accommodations that you think would be helpful in a workplace?
Um, I'm not exactly sure.
So like if you were, let's say you got a job after you graduate from college, like what are things that you would want to see your boss or your workplace do to help support you so that you're successful?
Um, Maybe have a couple people help me out, like with whatever I'm doing.
Okay, so like maybe someone helping you like learn the skills for the
Yeah.
day.
And then after a while, like maybe say like give like a thank you card, like thank you so much for helping.
Okay, so you want that like the reinforcement, you want someone to like acknowledge your efforts.
Yes. They
Okay.
did that at SBCC.
Oh, great. Okay, so I think those are very great suggestions. So, having some sort of like job coach in the beginning, and then as learn the skills, become more independent, praise you, right? Kind of a thank you card or something.
Yeah.
Any other things you can think of that would be helpful?
Um, Maybe at first only working part-time.
Okay, starting part-time and then
Yeah,
gradually.
and not working every single day.
Okay. And then what about scheduling? I know like some jobs, like the schedule is like variable, and some jobs, like the schedule is set. Like, what would you prefer?
Probably a set schedule.
Okay, you want a set schedule.
Let me
Um,
think of a question.
okay, cooking is scary, but you will do a great job if you practice. So I guess maybe that's one of the things you'll have to learn, Harry, cooking. But I feel like there has to be like these fun cooking classes that maybe you could partake in.
Yeah, I could do that.
One question from Lynn said, what part of the transition process from ABA to adulthood independence was the most helpful? So thinking about your therapy that you received, like what was the most helpful in helping you transition?
Um, Maybe even though I didn't like those conversation skills, those were pretty helpful. And then also like in high school when I didn't have the aid like all day,
Okay, so
that started to help be more independent. Like I only had it for my academics and not for lunch or electives.
perfect. So fading out of the one.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then someone said, what would you say to another autistic individual if they are having a difficult time socializing because they say that they're different from others due to being autistic?
Um, just like introduce yourself, make a good first impression. My speech therapist told me that a lot. And
This person.
then if you make good first impressions around other people, they'll probably want to be your friends.
Mhm.
And if you make bad ones, then it'll end up in a bad direction.
Awesome. And I think and I want to kind of share this because I think this is so important. I mean, right now you're doing so amazing in terms of just like socially, you have a lot of friends, but can you share with everyone, like, was that easy for you? Is that something you had to like work at? Like, what
It
was that?
was hard. It was hard in elementary school, and it was hard to like organize like after school hangouts, which I didn't do very much.
Mhm.
But then when I realized they were fun, I decided to start organizing them.
And what was that piece that helped you realize that socializing is fun? Like, what helped you
Uh,
decision?
Probably like those cast parties in theater
Awesome.
made me realize it was fun and made me want to start organizing get-togethers.
Perfect.
I do it now.
I know you're so great at organizing. And then okay, so now the other person, hi Harry. First, I'm really proud of you. What was your favorite subject at school?
Uh, in elementary or anytime.
Just like what's your favorite subject in school? I guess like
Probably, except what?
except for college, from K through 12, what was your favorite subject?
Um, in elementary, probably PE, and high school and junior high, probably band and theater.
Oh, and then they
Or
said
I didn't do band in junior high, but I did jazz band in high school.
awesome. And they said, was it difficult to learn reading and writing when you were in elementary school?
Yes.
And what were some things that helped you learn reading and writing?
Uh, One thing that helped is like take some time reading, maybe like have a thing to follow along with.
Mhm.
Another thing with writing was like take breaks. I know your hand can get sore from a lot of writing, and that's why I found typing easier.
And so would you recommend for like let's say elementary kids where they don't really like writing, should they start learning typing early on or what
Yeah, probably.
about it? And then I know you had mentioned that sometimes during our therapy sessions we did homework. Do you remember any of the ways we help you make homework fun?
Um, do some of it and then like take a break and then rewarding
Mhm.
myself after.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't remember if you remember this, but do you remember when for sometimes we would have you like learn how to make like your favorite food, like French toast, and you would have to write out all the ingredients and write out the steps.
Yeah.
Would you say that was helpful or not?
Yeah, that was. And also sometimes when I had trouble doing math problems all the time, actually. Not sometimes, all the time. We would like change it up. So like it was like making something that I'd rather do instead of like what the problem is saying.
Yep, perfect. I do remember that.
And you changed it to my name, like Harry.
Yes, for the math the word problems, right? We would change the
Yeah, because those were challenging.
S. That's like I can't remember you remember that. Another person says, do you think it helps to let people know you have autism when trying to befriend them? I never know whether or not to tell people.
Um, Maybe don't say you have autism right away, but like tell them like you feel a little shy around other people if you do,
Mhm.
and just try to have a nice conversation.
Perfect. And when you make new friends, like, is that information you share right away or
You not really, usually after a while.
that's good.
But
Thank
if you're in like junior high or high school, when you make a new friend, you should maybe exchange contact information kind of soon. I know I didn't do that and I didn't have a lot of contact information during the pandemic.
it's probably hard. Another person said, you said theater has made it easy to make friends. What is um What is it about theater acting that helped you in this way? Any other ways this has helped you navigate adulthood?
Uh, yeah, like doing scenes with someone together, and then sometimes in high school we'd have like a company building day where we actually got bonding time.
Cool.
And
And
my junior year's production of Pippin, it was a small cast, so like we all really got to know each other, and we created a group chat so we could text each other.
so you have, I mean, I know you've had a big interest in theater, but let's say another kid has no interest in theater. Is that something they should pursue, or should we try to find something that they really like?
Uh, maybe they should give it a try, but if they don't like it, maybe find something that they like.
Great answer. And
But
then
yeah, do give it a try. It's fun.
would you say any part of therapy helped you prepare you for your interest in theater?
Uh, Probably.
Okay. Another question. How involved were you in the ABA program in terms of sharing your concerns and brainstorming goals with the ABA team? When did you start getting involved?
I don't remember when I started getting involved. I feel like I was pretty involved,
Mhm.
and I don't really remember. That was so long ago.
You mentioned the great support of your family while growing up. What advice would you give a worried parent of a child who was newly diagnosed with autism?
Um, Advice I give a parent with an autistic child. Um, I need to think about this.
Take your time.
Like have them like play fun games with them, and like if they're complaining a lot, if they do complain like I used to do, have them do deep breathing
Mhm.
and reward them for being flexible. I know that was a challenge for me,
Mhm. Awesome. And
like
looking
when plans change.
very flexible. Um,
There was one time where I wasn't flexible, where we had to postpone a train ride because someone was in the hospital.
but that one incident, but I'm sure you've been flexible a lot more since, right?
Yeah. Ever since I learned from that, be flexible if those plans have to change.
Great. And then I guess to add to that, would you say if, just because you had that one tantrum or that one moment where you had a hard time being flexible, should parents continue to give their child opportunities to practice being flexible?
Yes. And then say like if they do this, like if they earn this amount of, if they have a point system or a sticker system like I did,
Mhm.
if they earn like this amount, then they get that reward.
Awesome.
But they have to earn it. Like I used to have to earn 10 stickers for a train ride.
Mhm.
Or was it that much?
It was like 10. And I
Let's
guess,
just say it was.
would you say the tokens or the stickers you had to earn, do you think it mimics the real world scenario of like learning how to save money?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does.
Okay, we got another question. When your therapist implements socialization strategies such as having a conversation, did you attempt to put in an effort or you just give the therapist what you know they want to hear to get it over with?
At first, I just wanted to get it over with, but then I really started putting in an effort.
Okay, great.
When like some actual fun topic I was interested in came, I'm like, oh, this sounds fun. Let's keep talking.
Awesome. Yep.
But when it was boring, like I have a test to study for, I'm like, okay, let's just get over this.
I think that's most of us, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think some of us have just learned to like pretend to be interested in a little bit longer. Another question, what has helped you the most with socializing and asking others questions?
Um, Probably like brainstorming questions to write to ask them
Mhm.
and coming up with the ideas.
Got it. So the therapist helping you come up with good questions.
Yeah.
Another parent said, as a parent of an autistic child, I find it challenging to strike a balance between teaching him important skills and allowing him to be himself. Could you share your thoughts on this?
Uh, maybe like if there's a skill that's like really important that he needs to know, tell him that. But like if it like results in like him not being himself, maybe just tell him he can be himself as long as he's using his words and not their hands.
And would you say that the type of therapy you received growing up, like impacted, like made you change who you are? Where
Yeah, probably.
do you think it helped you like shape up, like help you develop important skills, or do you think the therapy forced you to become someone you're not?
It helped me develop skills and it helped me want to ask people to get together outside of school.
Awesome. Got a question. Do you feel your life is different after learning the socialization skills? And in what ways?
Yeah, it is. I'm getting out there more.
More. And what do you enjoy the most about socializing?
Uh, you you get to laugh sometimes. Like sometimes people say things that are so funny, and then you start laughing, like if you're telling jokes to other people.
Awesome. And then how do you feel about making eye contact with people?
That can be hard sometimes, like if they're staring at you for a long time.
Um, we have another
I
question.
Yeah, what's the question?
Hi, Harry. You are amazing. From your perspective, what is the one thing that you think that you didn't like or recommend practicing in ABA therapy?
One thing I didn't like was probably the charts they had to make, like self-management skills.
You didn't like that. Would you say the learning the self-management has like, do you think, okay, that was like a waste of my time? Or do you think, okay, I didn't like it, but now it's helped me?
I didn't like it, but it helped me. It is helpful
How would you say it's helpful?
because it makes you stop like getting into bad habits.
Awesome.
Like I used to quote a little kid from Monsters Inc. and we did the self-management skills, so I stopped doing that.
And I guess maybe can you share with the people here what your therapy looked like? Because there's a lot of different types of therapy that say, that's all within ABA. So did you have to like go to a center? Did you go to a clinic? Was your therapy at home? Was it at parks? Like what was
When
the experience?
when I was living in New York, I usually went to my therapist in person, and then when I was living here, most of the time they'd come home. Sometimes we meet somewhere fun. I did go to a social group that was like a bunch of people in therapy. It
And,
wasn't really therapy, it was learning social skills though.
um, and did you have a preference in terms of
Um, I liked either at home or at like a park, like the Friday fun days.
and then during your therapy again, and then so you prefer like the therapist coming to your house, like we're meeting in fun places like the parks.
Yeah.
And then from that therapy, within those therapy settings, can you share like what did your therapy session look like, let's say at home? Like, did we sit at a table and was it like just mostly sitting at a table and working on skills? What did it look like?
We'd sometimes we'd sit at a table and like have a checkbox where we worked at skills, and then I had to get 5 checks, and then we'd do something fun like go on the trampoline that I recently got rid of, or like bike riding.
Mhm. Awesome.
And sometimes it was mainly just homework if I had a lot of it.
So helping you make homework fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then sometimes it got boring though if it was raining because we couldn't do much.
Yeah. And
And then we'd also play board games a lot.
you're very good at them.
Yeah. The
Um,
rainy days with therapists were probably the hardest
mhm,
because you can't really do anything that you usually do.
mhm. Um, Someone said, I hope this question doesn't bring up any negative feelings, but have you ever experienced bullying in a school environment or dealt with peers who were mean to you? If so, how did you handle it?
Um, Good question. One time a kid was teasing me with the happy birthday song in a class, so I would just tell the teacher would find out. Like
Mhm,
if he'd just been hearing it, he'd be like, "Stop doing that."
mhm. So you talk to an adult?
Yeah,
Great. Um, any other incidents of being bullied or
not really.
oh, that's great. Um, Hi, Harry. Thank you for sharing these valuable tips. What was the biggest academic challenge you faced before college, and how did you overcome it?
Uh, well, dealing with biology class was a challenge. I had a teacher I almost failed it, but I barely passed it, and I had a teacher who was very hard on us.
Mhm.
But I overcame it by like my therapist helping me with the homework, and sometimes I had a tutor, like with math as well.
And if I recall, even though it was hard, didn't you get pretty good grades?
Yeah, I did.
So
The only bad grade was like a C- in bio.
I think that was the only bad one. So
Yeah, and then I think I once ended up with like a C in a math class.
not bad though. I think I had a few C's too in high school. So
But
um,
other than that, it was mostly A's and B's.
awesome. And then we have another question. I wonder if there are any particular strategy that you are utilizing when you are feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, and you are awesome.
Thank you for that. So when I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, sometimes I would call like my parent if I'm away, or like I'd want to talk to someone. Then sometimes I'd start taking deep breaths,
Mhm.
like my dad would always say.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Awesome. I think those are all of the questions. You've answered a lot of questions. And Harry, I think I can't thank you enough for being here, for answering all these questions. I mean, I know your insight has probably really inspired a lot of parents and therapists that are attending this webinar to either implement some of the things that you've shared that has helped you become this amazing young adult you are today. And I think for the parents that are here, I think it's given them hope and optimism that hopefully their child, can achieve all these great things just like how you've achieved. So I think your presence has been very, very much appreciated. I mean, I'm speaking for everyone, and I'm sure everyone agrees with that. Final, if you had to kind of give two last advice to professionals and parents, like what would the two takeaway message should be?
Um, One would be reward your child for good behavior and have a system for that. But don't waste money because if like you did a train ride every weekend like I wanted to do, you'd be poor.
Okay.
I know my mom said if I earned a train ride every weekend, we would be poor.
Absolutely. The trains
'Cause
are expensive.
it, yeah, I mean, to Carpinteria, it's just $10, but like to LA, it's $30. And the other thing is like maybe set times to do homework and times to play with toys.
Mhm. So
Or
have a routine.
yeah, like how we had like a certain time to do homework each day.
Mhm.
And I mean, if they want to do homework earlier, you should totally let them.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, have a certain time where like this time is when you do your homework.
Awesome. Very last thing, someone said, thank you so much for sharing, Harry. I work in the field and this has given me so much hope for my clients. I love your system suggestion. It can make such a difference. You're amazing. Keep being awesome. Uh,
Thank you so much, whoever that was.
And so that is it, Harry. Again, thank you so much for your time.